Hey everyone! So for tonight's live, I want to talk about separation anxiety, which is something that I get a lot of inquiries about. And it's something that's really, really debilitating for both the dog and the owner. So my name is Dr. Helen. I'm an emergency medicine doctor and also certified animal aromatherapy specialist. And I love to help people use an integrative approach to their health and that of their pets. And I'm joined there by my cat, Holly. Of course I am. If you're familiar with my lives, you know there's always some animal that joins me, and it's Holly tonight. So let's talk about separation anxiety. So it varies in severity from a dog struggling for a couple of hours to a dog really unable to cope when the owner just pops to the loo and causes destructive behaviour to the house as the dog struggles to cope when you're absent. So it's actually an attachment disorder, and it really should be classified as a syndrome rather than a diagnosis, as it's more of a cluster of behaviours as opposed to one specific behaviour. So separation anxiety is the extreme, and a lot of people actually think their dog has it when the dog may just have a few separation issues. So it's important to view it as a spectrum, with your dog looking unhappy as you walk out the door to a dog that has a full-blown anxiety attack, which can present as howling, shaking, barking, salivating or crying. And it can happen at weird times. You know, my blind dog, I did a little video today, and my blind dog, she likes to sleep downstairs. She's had a little bit of separation anxiety over the last couple of days because my new cat, not Holly, who you've just seen, Mufasa, has been venturing downstairs in the evening, and it's freaked her out. And so she's had this really mournful bark, and I've had to put her in her crate because she feels very safe and secure there. So I need to get a new dog gate because he's managed to smash through the dog gate. So I can't keep him upstairs. So bless her. And it's just freaked her out. And she's still getting used to him because obviously she can't see him. So but she's just very much aware that there's something there. So contrary to popular belief, lockdown has not caused a plethora of dogs with separation anxiety. And so this extra time of togetherness is actually not the cause. And it seems to have built that it's better, it's been better for the dogs. It's actually more prevalent when owners don't have sufficient time to bond with their puppy, and so obviously that's not happened with lockdown at all because there's been plenty of time. There is a potential breed involvement, but there's no consistent breeds have been identified, but mixed breeds do tend to suffer more, and anecdotally gun dog breeds suffer more, possibly due to how biddable they are due to their close working relationship with humans. All dogs can get separation anxiety though, and it may be caused by previous background experiences. So if your dog has been left and something happened which scared the dog, this can cause a separation disorder. So it can be something new, as I've said with Inca. An example of this, another one, would be something like a firework that may have exploded when the dog was alone, and the dog now associates being left alone with a scary thing and will be anxious when left alone. It can be caused by dogs being left for long periods of time and not knowing when their guardian is due to come back, or due to over-attachment with a specific individual, and them not being around can also be the trigger. So it doesn't just have to be that they're on their own. It may just be that they're not with one particular person. Unpredictability and lack of routine can cause separation issues, and because we all like to know, don't we, when something is going to happen, and your dog is the same. And so a good established routine helps your dog feel confident that you are coming back. Manage it can take a lot of time, but with good and kind strategies that you implement, this will help to start to build your dog's confidence. Now, how this is done does really depend on the underlying motivation, as isolation distress needs a different approach to a dog that doesn't want to be parted from an individual. So there isn't one set way to help. And so there is never a quick fix for separation anxiety. Now, depending on the severity of the issues, it can take time for your dog to be confident to stay maybe on its own. It can vary. So it's not unusual, for example, for it to take months and up to a year to allow the dog to be confident enough to stay on its own for 20 minutes. So that is how difficult it can be to manage it. Now, I would love to be able to give you some top tips that will make a massive difference to you in a couple of weeks, but as hopefully I've explained, it's so multifactorial that just isn't possible. But I am going to give you some tips that will help in some way to get a better understanding of how to help your dog. Now, professional help is really worthwhile to help this improve instead of worsen and get to the nitty-gritty sooner than later. And this is something I suggest to a lot of people who approach me. And they do think that, you can just wave a little bit of aroma around and use some fragrance and everything's going to be fine. And unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So we need to approach it very differently. And we can use a combination of approaches, aromatherapy, along with behavior modifications. So when applying strategies, it's really important to look at the whole picture, which includes the use of the dog's greatest sense, its nose. So using a visual cue when leaving also works, but using the dog's nose must be the best for an animal that navigates the world with their sense of smell. So it's certainly a case with my beautiful Inca. So a familiar scent that creates a calming odor memory can be so useful. So this is a subject I absolutely love doing. And talking to people and teaching, and deserves a blog all of its own. And I will write a blog and I'll do a separate podcast on it. And it's been really vital for helping my dog Inca with her own anxieties. And so what I have been doing last night is I immediately just pop some oils in the diffuser, pop some of her favourite choices on her so that she had that calming sense with her. And so it wasn't so frightening with the cat. And what I'm also doing as well is I've got some the blanket that she has in her crate is going in my cat's bed. So actually she's getting used to that aroma during the day. So interestingly, there is a very strong correlation between separation anxiety and skin disorders, possibly due to the stress hormone cortisol being chronically elevated, which can lead to a detrimental effect on physical and mental health. Now, while we're on the subject of cortisol, this rises when your dog is stressed, but it also rises when your dog exercises too. So if you are someone who takes your dog out for an hour's walk before popping off to work, then thinking that that's going to tire them out, well, it's actually not the answer, because what it's doing is raising their cortisol, and then their stress raises it even more. So you end up with a dog with very, very high stress levels. So try this instead. Instead of an hour, do 30 minutes of good exercise. Then 15 minutes of some mental exercise, training, scent work. There's so many things you can teach your dog. I was doing some hill work earlier and some weaving through my legs. And then once you get back home, after on your walk, do 50 minutes of calming exercises. So a lick maticon, or give them their breakfast with lots of licking things in there, because licking releases endorphins, and the combination of these 3 different exercises will help tire your dog out and reduce that cortisol. So when you do leave that stress hormone that we all love to hate is not at such a high level. So here's 5 more tips for you that will help as well. So first of all, gradual departures. Practice leaving your dog alone for short periods and gradually increase the time you're away. And this helps desensitize them to your departures. 2, create a safe space. Designate a comfortable area for your dog with their bed, toys and water. And this safe space can provide a sense of security. 3, counter conditioning. Associate your departures with positive experiences by giving your dog treats or toys when you leave and when you return. 4, consistent routine. Establish a consistent daily routine so your dog knows what to expect. Predictability can reduce anxiety. Now, if like me, you do shift work, you may say, well, I can't, but your departure can still be predictable. I still depart, despite the fact that I may leave at different times, my routine of leaving is always the same. Utilize the power of scent with your dog and create a positive memory with an aroma that can be used when you are not there. Consult a professional like myself, and if the anxiety is severe, consider consulting a professional dog trainer or a veterinarian for specialized guidance and potential medications. So this is something that's really, really worthwhile, because it's ultimately going to save you a lot of time and you're going to be going down the right approach. So important to remember that addressing separation anxiety may take time and patience, but these strategies can make a difference in helping your dog feel more secure when you're not around. So if you would like some more help with your dog with separation anxiety, drop me a message to find out how I can help you. And don't forget, I've actually got a webinar coming up as well, all about separation anxiety, that's coming up at the weekend, next weekend. So do check that out, and click on the link going across the bottom of the screen or in the show notes, and do come along and join it. But if you're listening to this after the webinar's finished, you let me know if you want to see the recording, or have a chat with me and find out about the services I offer you, so that we can really help you and your dog be calmer when you are not around. So hope that helps. Stay safe, everyone. Stay well. Bye.